Okay, and if you have any questions, just interrupt me. I will share my screen. Welcome to join this session. You know, the major you are learning is data science. After your graduation, the the position is data scientist or data analyst. That means you will analyze the data to find some patterns. Then your leadership of your company will make a data-based decisions. They will not do some decisions based on their experience. They will make their decision based on the data. Let me check who is joining. Hello, Sumita. Nice to meet you. Okay, I will continue. So now you know the position we will take after graduation. So this course is a practical course. It will teach you some Python skills, and you will do a project to analyze the weather data and find some patterns. You will use what you have learned to this project. This is the project goal, find some patterns from weather data. So have you ever have a look at the project data? There are 3 weather CSV files. It has the weather name, weather station name, and rainfall amount, and the date every day. Okay, so how to achieve this goal? First, you need to learn some background of weather data. You know, we will be a data analyst in the future. For example, currently my company sells furniture. I have a lot of data. So what can I do? First, I have to learn some background about retail. For example, I need to know which product is the top seller. We have a lot of products in the warehouse. So which product always stock out, which products overstock, and what is the inventory turnover rate. And we buy some products from suppliers, and how to evaluate the supplier. For example, we bought many chairs from the suppliers, but when we sell them to the customers, the customer complain about it and return them. The return rate is 50%. Then what is the right metric to determine whether this supplier is reliable? Since you work in an industry, you have to learn some background of the industry first, and then you will know which metrics are you concerned, which is the goal. And since you know your goal, then you should collect some data. And then you need to design your project. Make a milestone for your project. Then you begin to develop. We will iterate over the projects. First, we will develop the version 1 of the project. Second, we will iterate on it and release the final version. After your project is done, then you need to promote your project features to your audience. When I find some patterns from the furniture dataset, I need to report to my boss, and they will make some decisions. You need to promote your project features. And besides, you need to explain your project code. For example, if your boss knows something about your code, you need to explain your code structure, your project structure. This is the overview of the project. So the first 3 tasks, assignment 1 will cover it. Then the mini project, this is a task of assignment 2. The final project, this is about assignment 3. Okay, so next I will walk you through the details of assignment 1. You need to read this document. I will show you. Assignments. Assignment 1. This document is the instructions of assignment 1. You have to read it carefully because it covers everything. Here, I summarized it. First, access your Git repository. Okay, I will take Lisa's repository as example. Lisa. We have 2 Git repositories, or we can call it Git projects. Project, the term project is similar to the term repository. The first one is just used for Git exercise. We can ignore it from now. We focus on this one. And oh, this is the feedback from me. From here, we can see we have a dataset projects. We have to clone this project and have a check of the dataset. I will open my VS Code. And open folder. Okay, here, there are 4 datasets. Okay, we can access our Git repository. And in the future, we will put our main.py and readme.md in the repository and then push it to Git. So for the here, readme.md, main.py. Okay, the first 2 steps are done. Third, run the project. I have to say the lecturer is very kindly. You don't have to start this project from 0 because the lecturer provide you some data set and provide you a Python code and give you a template of readme.md. He's very kindly. Then we have to run it. I will run it. Click this. And it has a prompt, select a location. For example, I lived in Christchurch for 1.5 years. I will choose 3. I care about the Christchurch rainfall. Then it statistics the total rainfall in 2021, January, February, March. Every month, it listed the rainfall amount. Okay, so the lecturer give you some code and give you a README template. Then you can just run it to know about the dataset easier. Okay, next one, you need to understand the code from high level, not detail. Understand the main.py. You can see there are several functions. We have several functions, and this is the structure of the function. As a user, we call the main function. Then the main function will call read CSV data function and run report function. The run report function will call menu select function. Then we'll call monthly run dataset function. We will learn this structure after module 5. The module 5 is about how to design the structure of your project. I'll give you an example. If you write a function, you cannot write 1,000 lines of code. And one day when you resign, your colleague will be responsible for this project. He will be crazy, you know, if your function has 1,000 lines of code. So in a company, we usually have about 10 lines of code in a function, so that run report function, there are a lot of code. So we break down the function and split it into 2 separate functions. Then we can make sure each function has about 10 lines of code. That is very easier to understand and read. Okay, you need to understand the code main.py from high level. Don't focus on the detail, because import pandas SPD. You will learn it on module 7, maybe. Don't focus on the detail. And then download more data to have more dimension to analyze. What does it mean? Here, if we click the 2020 run.csv, we can see there is a station ID. Station means we have many stations, and for example, Auckland Airport, Christchurch Airport, Wellington Airport. Here, station ID is similar to station name. And then we have a date. So so every day we have a value. And the last column is rainfall amount. If you imagine, if you work in a weather team, currently there is only one metric available, rainfall amount. You cannot get much patterns from it. That means you have to download more data. For example, when consider the weather data, we will think of El Nino or La Nina. I will show you. El Nino rainfall. Yes, and during El Nino, New Zealand will experience stronger winds and more rain in the west. That means if you try to find the patterns of rainfall, then El Nino is a very strong metric, because you can say whether during El Nino there is more rain, for example, rain for several weeks, for continuous several weeks. And another example is except rainfall amount, except whether it is El Nino, we can say, how about the temperature on that day? How about the humidity on that day? How about the wind speed, wind direction on that day? As long as we have several metrics of the weather, we will have more dimensions. And we can get the patterns from different dimensions. Then your conclusion will be more persuasive. Okay, this is download more data. And next one, design and plan your project. Write them down in readme.md. Next, I will go through the readme.md very carefully. So here is the checklist. And our project is fill in the initial program behavior section and fill in the future development sections. So we have two sections. The first one is initial our project. I mean, download the data, set up your Git repository, and run the code. The second one is future development. I mentioned many times, we will design our project. So how? First, we will draw some class to visualize the data to get some patterns. For example, we can use Matplotlib. Matplotlib is a library to visualize your project, to visualize your data. Example of the basic analysis, correlating two weather metrics. I mentioned earlier, what is the correlation between rainfall amount and temperature? What is the correlation between humidity and wind speed? This one forming box plots of weather metrics. For example, for the rainfall amount, what is the distribution of it? What is the median number? Median, mean, maximum, minimum. We will have a basic understanding of the rainfall amount. Okay, this is the basic analysis. Then the lecturer recommend Clayful. I will show you. From this website, we can download many weather data, and the current data is downloaded from this website. For example, daily and hour observation wind. I care about the wind. And 2022, January 1st to 2022, December 31st. Then I will send query. I will get some data. Then you can merge with the current data. Then finally, we will have many metrics, not limited to rainfall amount. And next, student lead features. That means the lecturer add this section because the charming of Python is that Python provide a lot of libraries. Even though you are not a geography expert, you are not a retail expert, you are not a biology expert, it doesn't matter. Python provides such libraries and you just call the functions provided and implement your business values. For example, we hope to calculate the distance between Auckland Airport and Christchurch Airport. We don't know how, but Python provides a library that we just call the function and pass the longitude and latitude of Christchurch Airport, longitude and latitude of Auckland Airport. Then the function will return the distance between them. So the lecturer hope you can self-learn some libraries and make your project more powerful and beautiful. Here is an example. Develop a weather dashboard. As we can see, for now, when we run the code, I will interact with the program in a terminal. It is not beautiful, right? It is not interactive. But if you develop a weather dashboard, for example, you use Streamlit library, then you can have you will develop a web, and it will be easier to interact with your program. Streamlit, I will show you. It is strongly recommended. I will show you Streamlit demo. So Streamlit is a library to develop a web quickly. For example, in the future, you may develop such a web, and there is a slide bar, and this is the input. And you can interact on a browser. In conclusion, the lecturer hope you can self-learn some libraries to make your project more powerful. And at last, you need to cite citations, some materials you used for the academic integrity. 1 second. Okay, this is you design your project. And last, commit readme.md to Git, and don't forget to submit to here. Submit here, and I can grade your assignment. If you just commit your changes to Git, then how can I grade your project? Where do I store your grade? we must store your grade marks in the UC Online. So you have to submit here, not limited to Git. And okay, I think that's all. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I've got a couple if it's okay. I started a little bit on the project structure today, but I know that the commit message is part of the assessment, and I was worried about doing it wrong, but ideally I'd like to do lots of commits. Is that all right? Or should we just do one final commit when we've got it all done?
So I will tell you the habit of I will tell you how we commit the project in a company. So generally, when we make some big changes, for example, we developed a function, we developed a module, then we will submit. Oh, I'm sorry. Then we will commit. We will commit, and then if we commit, then the Git will help us manage the history. And you know, whenever we commit something, we will have to write a reason why we commit. And in the future, Git will manage this information, and we can review this whether why we committed. And in the company, usually we push the changes to the Git every day before you leave the company. Do you know why? Because if you push it before you leave office, then next day when you go to the office, your teamwork can can pull the latest Git product the project to your own PC because you collaborate. For example, Lisa, you write a function and your colleague need to use your function you wrote. And if you push it every day, then the next morning, your colleague will pull it from the Git.
Mhm.
So
So just in terms of the assignments, like I set up the file structures today or put those two little files in from Moodle, and then I wanted to check it in, but I just thought I'd better check if
yeah,
I
so
can do it. If I did
yeah.
it too much, would it be bad?
Yeah, so have you seen, 1 second. Oh no. 1 second. So Lisa, this is your project. As you can see, your team member, me, pushed something. So tomorrow morning or Monday morning, you need to pull the latest project to your own PC. Do you know how to pull? Using
Yes,
VS
yeah.
Code?
So I guess what I'm asking is, will I be marked down if I do like 6 commits on the README? Because it's really just a little thing. Probably if you're in the real world, you just make it in one day. But I was going to do a commit when I set up the project, and then maybe I might do a bit of work on the README, I'd commit it. But will you look at it and be like, this is ridiculous, too many commits? Or
Yes. I like your cat. I can see its tail. Okay, so it is good habit to pull the latest Git project to your PC whenever you begin your new development, because this is the habit in the company. But for now, your team member is just me, so you don't have to pull frequently.
okay, but for pushing for my own backups, it's all right if I do like for this first assignment, if I did 10 pushes or commits, that's okay. You don't want to just see one. You don't mind seeing lots and lots as a backup every day for my work.
Yes, there is not a strict standard. For example, generally, if you make a decision, I mean, if you make a big improvement, you will commit it. Just like imagine you are writing a book and you think you finished a chapter, then you will commit it.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Can you just go through how to pull that through the poll?
Okay, through the poll. Okay, I will use your Git repository as example. Paula. You say I'm hardworking. I store all of your projects. Okay, click here. Click dot dot dot. Cool. 1 second. This is the progress bar. Yeah, finished. 1 second. Cool. Okay. That is the pool. You can use VS Code, but for me, you know, I just share with you. For me, I have 20 Git repositories because I have 20 students. I will use the terminal. I prefer terminal. I will show you. I prefer it. Oh. Gate pull. Already up to date means there is no update since the last pull. That means last pull it is about 2 p.m. and now it is 7:30 p.m. That means since 2 p.m. Paula didn't push anything. Okay, so
And
Paula,
just-
you can pull either use VS Code or either use terminal. I prefer terminal.
Okay. And then just to clarify, because you've gone through the whole project
Yes,
today. So can you just clarify what we have to do for the assessment 1? Is it just those 2 tasks?
yes,
So
yes.
it's just the initial program behavior section.
Yes, so for your assignment 1, you have 2 tasks. First,
Yeah.
initial program behavior.
Yeah.
That means
Uh-huh.
you need to understand the data. For example, what is the form of the initial data is? How
Yeah.
to run your project. To understand the current code and current data. Next, you will design your project. Make a plan, design a project, what your project will look like in the future. For example, if you hope to download the El Nino data and download the wind speed or humidity temperature data, you will write it here. And you hope to do some, for example, I will analyze the correlation.
Yeah. So we have to do the basic analysis feature as well?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes,
there's the future development, the basic analysis. Anything
Yes.
else?
So the readme.md, you can consider it as a statement of interest. That means
Yeah.
your project description is listed here. I mean, you will design a project and write it down here. So
Yeah.
when next time after the due date, I will check your readme.md. Then I will know what your project look like. If I think it is too challenging, I will talk to you. And if I think your analysis is perfect, I will give you some project and encourage you.
Okay.
I mean,
And do we need to do the student-led features as well?
yes,
That has to be done in the first assignment?
yes,
Okay.
yes, you're right. Because if in the future you hope you interact your program with on the terminal, no, I don't think so. You hope to make a beautiful patterns and beautiful visualization, maybe on a website. It is more beautiful. I think you may use it, but it seems it is stressing. I'll tell you a secret. Tell you a secret. So assignment 1 is not the final version of your project.
Yeah.
And when you do assignment 2, you will find, oh, my assignment 1 is ambitious. I need to reduce some features. That's okay.
Okay.
It's not a final version.
Okay. So it's
worry about
more our ideas and aspirations for the project is what you want to see.
Yes, because after the readme.md, I mean the statement of interest, the project description, I will understand your goal. Okay, I will understand your target. Then I can talk to you if I think there are some problems. If you don't write it, I don't understand your goal. Even though your project description is not perfect or have some questions, it's just version 1. That's okay. At least you have it. Then I can understand it. At least
Okay.
you have a target. Yeah, you can change it. You can change it in the future.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, otherwise that will be too stressful. Do you have any questions, Jess? Anushika, Judy?
You know the data. I mean I did try running it, but do we have to have a separate like a folder, or can we have a folder and then have a folder in it? Like for example, you know how you have so your SC 480 project, you know, whatever, but can it be in a bigger folder? Like, you know how we had that we created this play me, you know, as an example. Can we have this assignment folder in it, or does it have to be like a separate individual?
Okay. So the project structure depends on you. The project structure.
Okay. And when we
For
are
me,
like
for example,
yeah.
this is Paula's project, and I created a folder feedback from phone, and I will
Okay.
add week 1, week 2, week 3
Oh,
into
okay.
this folder. I think this
Yeah.
structure looks neat, I think.
Okay. Fair enough. And then can I just you know, if you go to the main py file, you know, it talks about the data when you're trying to get the data into it. If you go scroll down a bit down, like further down, there, like you managed to pull that out, your data like that, but I was not able to pull it out. I had to put in my you know, the C, you know, the whole file location.
Yes. Okay, so from now on, please use
Yeah.
relative path, not absolute path from now on.
Okay.
Relative means relative Mendel PY. The 2020 Randall CSV is data / 2020 Randall PY. Please don't use absolute path.
Okay.
Please don't. Otherwise,
Okay.
for example, you finish your project and you submit to me.
Yeah.
And if you use absolute path, I will have